Chief Program Officer for Save the Redwoods League, and we're here today because the league is actually sponsoring this Earth Day and using this as a launch of our centennial celebration. We've been around for 100 years, so we're announcing our centennial vision for the Redwoods.
Almost in the opposite situation that you're in, Kieran, because you're promoting a forest that's in danger, whereas this forest is alive and kicking.
That's true. Well, I'm Kieran O'Hara, and I'm working with a technical and partnership liaison for a group called ARC Amazon, who are ARC stands for Alliance for Research and Conservation, and we have a research and conservation facility in the Las Piedras, the mid-Las Piedras in Madre de Dios in Peru. And the rainforest that we're stewarding and protecting is 11,000 acres of primary growth rainforest in the Las Piedras. And it is primary growth rainforest means that it's never been cut down, it's never been deforested. These forests are ancient, they're millions of years old. This forest is right now very much alive and thriving with life. But we're at a critical time because the major threats we're facing are threats of illegal logging for hardwoods such as mahogany and the very slow growing hardwoods to grow in the rainforest. Also illegal gold mining, which has a huge devastation and effect on the rainforest. This illegal gold mining can actually devastate the rainforest and leave basically the landscape looking like the moon or Mars. So we are endeavouring to try and protect the area that we're conserving, 11,000 acres, and also to try and start an initiative to unite other conservation groups that are in Las Piedras and form an initiative called the Las Piedras Corridor Initiative. So that's why we're doing the documentary.
So the difference in the forestation, obvious in terms of size, and in fact on the environment, because the Amazonian forest has a major effect on our environment, on the air that we breathe. Is it the same for the redwoods?
Absolutely. So that the league in its 100-year history has helped to protect over 200,000 acres of redwood forest, and luckily we are in a position where we have significant amounts of old growth redwood forests that have been protected. Right now it's of about 120,000 acres. We've already protected now about 3/4 of that amount. About 90,000 acres of old growth redwood forest is under permanent protection and is providing incredible benefits to carbon sequestration and storage. We have a research arm of our organization, and that research has confirmed that redwood forests sequester carbon, store carbon, at 3 times the rate of any of the next most prolific carbon sequestration ecosystem in the world. So they're 300% more than the next forest ecosystem type in terms of carbon storage.
You have the protection of the law in this country. How do you offer some solace to Kieran in his journey and his circumstance, where he's very much fighting sometimes the law, sometimes the culture that exists around him?
So in our history, we have really, I think, one of the hallmarks of the work that we've done is to forge strong partnerships with state government, federal government, local partners. The work that we have done could not have been achieved without strong public-private partnerships. We clearly have had huge support from private foundations, private philanthropists in helping to finance the work that we do. But that work would be so much less meaningful if we didn't have the state, federal, and local laws that really help us in protecting these lands. And beyond that, we have, I think we're very lucky in this country to have forest practices regulations that even on lands that are not protected by conservation organizations really ensure that forest practices are done to a certain standard. Certainly, we would love to see more areas in permanent preserve status, but those areas that are not in permanent preserve status are certainly managed to a higher standard than certainly what we've experienced and we know is happening in other parts of the world, particularly in the Amazon and other tropical rainforests.
There's an opportunity for you to reach out, Kieran, to organisations like this. What sort of questions or what sort of help would you ask from Paul?
question springs to mind, Donna and Paul. That is, you mentioned a lot of the federal protections that we have in the United States for the redwoods and for forests. One thing that we are trying to achieve by making a documentary this May is trying to bring that message to the wider public and to people maybe not traditionally involved in conservation. How valuable has engagement with the general public been to the mission of Save the Redwoods, the Redwoods League?
Absolutely critical. We have engaged through policy and advocacy work with the general public in helping to ensure that policies are adhered to, that policies are developed and protected within both federal and state government, that to the benefit of the redwoods. As much as I had stated earlier that we benefit from governmental regulation and governmental protection, governments change, and we right now are experiencing threats to our many of the national monuments that we have in this country that are stemmed from interests that would prefer to have less restrictions, the ability to open lands up for uses such as coal mining, gas and oil leases, and it's critical to engender the support of the public in voting to make sure that these protections that were put into place remain in place.
Okay. Another question I might have for you, Paul, is by building awareness of the general public, does that also help build a donor base? Because to do this conservation work requires funding. And often conservation groups are very sparsely funded. Do you find that building awareness of the general public with campaigns, with outreach, does that help with the donor base too?
Absolutely. We would not be able to carry out the work that we do without the support of our private individual donors. Certainly we get support from state and federal funding programs, from foundations, but a large share of the work that we do is the result of private donors who came to the league based on our outreach and our interest in engaging them and understanding the value of the work that we do. And really seizing on their interest in protecting an iconic resource. And I would assume that a similar iconic resource in Central America, South America, and Indonesia would help to capture the interest of donors who really see a long-term value in protecting those resources now, but more importantly, in the future as we face global climate change and other threats that forests are key to helping address this now.
Okay. Do you feel that, I feel also that it's important to get the eyes on what's under threat, like the redwoods or the Amazon, and to get minds and hearts aligned with the goal too. And that sounds like what you're doing with the redwoods, not what we're trying to do with the Amazon.
Exactly. That's why we're here today. I think the events like this and around Earth Day that bring a large amount of the public to rallying around an issue or a cause is an opportunity to get our message out. And we are heavily reliant on social media and other mechanisms to get our message out to the general public and help to bring in that interest and attract their support for our work.
Well, that's great, Paul. So in wrapping up, do you see any way in which your conservation with the redwoods and our parallel efforts to conserve the Amazon, see a way that we could perhaps partner up and support each other?
Save the Redwoods League traditionally has been focused on our work in the Redwood Range in California and a little part of Oregon that the Coast Redwoods stretch into. That said, we certainly are always interested in conservation efforts elsewhere in the world. We've been involved in visits down to Chile and other parts of South America where there are cousins of the redwood that exist down in those areas. There are cousins of the redwoods that exist in China. But our focus has really been around protecting the coast redwoods and white sequoia in California. That's this iconic resource. But in terms of ancillary benefits and promoting the general concept of protecting in particular our forest resources around the world, we certainly are willing advocates in that effort.